Good morning, everyone. Joy here. We're at FieldHaven, and as you've probably heard, we are closed to the public at this time, and we've also closed FieldHaven Marketplace. We've also made the really tough decision to close the Hathaway Spay-Neuter Clinic. This was a hard decision to make because we are on the cusp of kitten season, and we want to get as many cats spayed and neutered and TNR as possible. But based on everything that's going on, we have made this decision. And let me give you a little explanation of why and why it's important that we not do this function at this time. Based on the experts who are telling us that we really shouldn't be doing anything that's non-essential or life-saving at this point, and spay-neuter, when we come right down to it, is not essential, and it's not life-saving or it's not protecting humans. Social distancing, we've all learned that new term, and keeping people free of the potential viruses is really almost impossible. When we look at just trapping a cat, you might think, well, what's the big deal? I trap a cat, I bring it in, the vet fixes it, I let it go. But when we broke it down, there really is as many as 22 people who could be contaminated with the COVID-19 virus in the process of trapping a cat and bringing it in for TNR. And let me just kind of go through this with you. Let's assume that the colony caretaker is carrying COVID-19. They may not know they're infected, but maybe they got infected yesterday. So that's person one. That person is caring for the cats, they're touching things, they may be leaving the virus on the cats. So let's just assume that, not leaving virus on the cats, but on the equipment around the cats and in the area. So let's just assume that that person is person one who has COVID. And again, they may not know it. So a staff member or volunteer hands the trap to be borrowed out to either the colony caretaker or the trapper. So now they're affected. So let's go on down the line. Next comes the trapper, the person who picks up the trap, the person who's transporting the cat to the spay-neuter clinic, the person who's unloading the cat from the car, the person who's doing the initial visual exam of the cat. So looking up under that sheet that has now been contaminated along the way. The person who's completing the paperwork. The person who's giving the cat the anesthetic, and that they have to pick that trap up and get to that cat to give it the anesthetic, and not the cat, but the towel or whatever, or the trap itself. The person who's prepping that cat for surgery. The veterinarian, the veterinary assistant, the person who transports and picks the cat up to go to recovery, the person who's recovering that cat, the person who picks the cat up to transport it back to its colony, the person who releases the cat from the trap back into the colony, the person handling the empty trap and all of that, the equipment going along with that, the sheets, the towels, whatever, person that's handling that empty trap for cleaning, the person that's doing the laundry from the empty trap, the person cleaning up the surgery suite, the person who's cleaning the instruments and doing spay packs and doing laundry from surgery, the person who's completing the paperwork, and the person who's entering that paperwork into the computer. So you can see along the line how many people could be contaminated with the COVID-19. So it is really important that we just stop this essential function. And there is one more thing that is really something to think about, is that if we continue with spay-neuter, we are using very valuable, critical PPE, or personal protective equipment, that is really needed for human medicine at this time. So while this is going to be a tough few months ahead of us for all of us, we'll get back to TNRing and doing our work just as soon as we can. Thank you all for your support, and we'll see you online. Thank you.